Welcome to Cooking with What You Have. In this series of recipes and cooking demonstrations, we will use a typical Caldwell County food pantry basket as a foundation for our recipes, along with normal ingredients that most people have in their kitchen. Our goal is quick and easy, nutritious food. Visit caldwellfoodpantry.com for recipes and cooking videos, or visit the Caldwell County Christian Ministry Food Pantry.
Hi, I'm Priscilla, and I'm the Icebox Queen. I'm working with the Caldwell County Food Bank, and today I'm going to show you a recipe for a breakfast hash. So this recipe I've got all laid out here before me. I am using bacon. Bacon or sausage is optional in this recipe. If you want it to be a vegetarian breakfast hash, you'll just use some vegetable oil instead of the bacon oil that I'm going to use when I saute the potatoes. I've got my bacon diced up, I've got my potatoes diced up, and I'm using onion, mushroom, zucchini, and a bell pepper. If you don't like any of those, or there's a vegetable you like better and have in your fridge, you can substitute any of these. The potatoes is really what makes it the hash, and then it's just whatever veggies you like. So I'm gonna put my diced bacon here in my pan. I want it to be the same pan that I'm gonna use for the breakfast hash. For one, so that I don't have to wash dishes, but also so that I can use the oil from the bacon. So I want to make sure I'm using a deep enough pan to cook it when I do the potatoes. So I'm going to let that sizzle up and get to a crisp, and then we'll show you how we're going to do the potatoes. All right, so I've got our bacon all crispy. I'm going to remove it with a slotted spoon and set it over into my bowl here. And then I'm going to drain out about all but a tablespoon of oil. And then put it back on my burner. And I'm going to add these potatoes. And we're going to let them crisp up for about 10 to 12 minutes until they start to look brown, and maybe you could stick a fork through them. And while these guys are sauteing, I'm going to show you how to dice up this red bell pepper. So I've already washed this guy. I'm going to cut off the very top of it, and then I'm going to cut off the very bottom of it. And scoot those over. And then I'm going to slice down the side and cut a little bit through the middle, so I'm getting that white stuff off. So a pepper has the white stuff on the inside so that it can grow, but also to protect itself from being eaten by birds. So the inside pith and the white parts of a bell pepper or any pepper are the spicy, bitter parts. And in this case, with the red bell pepper, it's the bitter part. So if you cut off the inside, the red bell pepper could taste a whole lot better to you. I'm actually gonna move this forward and have my pan here. So I'm gonna come at it from the side and slice off that white interior. So I'm slicing off that interior part, trying to cut off as little as possible so you still have as much bell pepper as possible. And do it to both sides of it, and you can cut it into smaller pieces if it makes it easier to go along the side, because the roundness of the bell peppers can make this part kind of awkward. And now I have several more or less flat pieces. And you could do them one by one if you wanted to. I'm going to stack them, and I'm going to slice them into long lines. And I've got my fingers over here holding them into place, but I'm making sure that my fingers are out of the scariness of the knife. And then I've got them all lined up this way. I'm going to go back down the other way, and that's what cuts them into cute little squares. This is the same method that I used for cutting the potato and the onion. well, the potato and the zucchini from, if you wanted to add zucchini. So I cut them all into equal sized parts and then did a long ways and a short ways. All right, so these potatoes have been cooking for about 10-15 minutes, and you can see that they're starting to get brown and soft. I could put a fork through them, and it goes right through. So they've gotten a good amount of time. Now I'm gonna start adding my veggies. Like I told you before, you could add whatever veggies you like with this. I'm going with mushrooms, onions, bell pepper, and zucchini. But if one of those isn't your favorite, you could add what you like. I'm gonna do them one by one, and I'm gonna kind of get these mushrooms with my spoon to make them a little bit smaller. The mushrooms release a lot of liquid, so that's why I'm doing them first, to let them mix in and start getting brown before I start adding the other ingredients that I want to get brown too. Get those guys on the bottom. I'm going to add my onion. And stir it in. Let the onion start. I'm going to add my bell pepper. Give it a nice splash of color. And finally, add my zucchini. And then I'm going to let that cook for about 10 minutes. All right, so our veggies have all gotten a chance to cook in here. I'm starting with about a ½ teaspoon of salt. And I've got my garlic over here. You could use fresh garlic if you wanted to. I would add it at this point when it only has a little bit longer to cook. And then you'll top it off with your bacon, and you've got a delicious dish. There we are.
Thank you to all who have contributed to the cooking with what you have with the Icebox Queen.